I really love the sound of your voice.
Really? I always thought it was kind of nasal and pinched.
The 1992 film Sneakers left a lasting mark on pop culture with its blend of humor and suspense, influencing the heist and caper genre. Directed by Phil Alden Robinson, who co-wrote the screenplay with Walter Parks and Lawrence Lasker, it features a stellar cast led by Robert Redford, including Dan Aykroyd, Ben Kingsley, Mary McDonnell, River Phoenix, Sidney Poitier, and David Strathair. In this exhilarating tale, Martin Bishop, portrayed by Redford, leads a team of security specialists on a mission to steal a mysterious black box. However, what seems like a straightforward heist quickly spirals into a web of danger and far-reaching consequences, challenging the team's skills and moral compass. Conceived in 1981 during the development of War Games, Sneakers features Robert Redford as the first actor to join the project. He played a crucial role in assembling an exceptional cast and recruiting Phil Alden Robinson as the director. The characters, drawing inspiration from actual hackers and defense figures, were brought to life through the actors' improvisations, adding an authentic touch to the film. Shot primarily on location in California, the film captures the essence of vibrant cities like San Francisco and Oakland, as well as the iconic Courthouse Square backlot at Universal Studios Hollywood. Released by Universal Pictures on September 11, 1992, it received critical acclaim and grossed $105.2 million, ranking as the 20th highest grossing film of the year. Welcome to Popped. I'm your host, Daniel, and joining me is my co-host and cryptographer extraordinaire, Eric. He's famous for using a little Orphan Annie decoder ring and decoding what it says. Hi, Eric.
Hi. Drink more Ovaltine.
That's right. That is exactly what you found out, isn't it? What was that? What was that movie called? Never mind.
Christmas Story.
Oh, yeah. Christmas Story. I wasn't really going to say the name of it, but anyway, also joining us is a person that I've wanted to get on the show for a long time. And if you've been watching for a long time or you listening for a long time, you'll remember our Somewhere in Time episode. There was some wonderful piano music that was played that was the actual theme song to the film. That was my little way around copyright. So welcome to my cousin, Ryan. Hi, Ryan.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? Glad to be here.
We're glad to have you. And I'm sure everybody's glad to have you too. All three of our listeners. So, all right. So we've had some mail come in. And on that note, all right, popped mail. And we're going to start here with Legrand Meg at Gmail. Says, hi, big fan. Been watching you guys since you first started putting Popped on YouTube. I keep missing the premieres for some reason. Putting trivia back into your show was a smart move. Also, I could have done without that as my favorite segment. In Death Becomes Her, I could have done without the scene where the doctor bends her hand backwards. I almost threw up. So gross. 3 exclamation points. Meg. Yeah, that was kind of gnarly. But thanks, Meg. We appreciate the email. And yeah, I don't know. I always look at stuff like that and I just think movie magic doesn't really like gross me out, but I think some people see that and their suspension of disbelief is just so visceral that like you can't look at it. So our next email came from Judge Jury Execute at AOL. AOL. Somebody's still using an AOL account.
Nice.
In your last episode, you guys showed some swag and said we could get it from your website. I hate to seem dumb, but I can't quite figure out where that is. Can you point it out, please? So yes, we can do that. Try to figure out how do we want to do this. I'll do a little overlay right now, right here, and we will point out in the corner where you can go and click, and that will give you a list of options on the website. There might even be some up top. I don't remember exactly, but it says support Popped. And what that'll do is take you to our Patreon page. Don't go there. Go to the buy merch link because that will take you to the page, which I think is Teespring, which is where I go in. We make little designs and you can go get a mug or a t-shirt or whatever. You'll find some other really clever designs in there too. Some of them I really like, which are like storylines for characters that if you look at the check boxes, it tells you who they are in the film. And it's more of like a kind of a trivia game in the shirt. Trust me on this. Go check it out. It's pretty cool. So anyway, thank you for the emails. We appreciate that. Love to hear from everybody. If you got anything you want to tell us, you can reach us at poppedreview@gmail.com and Eric_poppedkernel at proton.me. All right.
I'm going to get a better email address at some point.
That's all right, man. That's all right. You keep me on my toes. So we're here to talk about the 1992 film Sneakers. And I'm kind of excited for this one because this is one of those films that I've always just sort of loved to put on and sit down and watch. I couldn't have told you before why that was, but now that I've had to sit down and analyze why I like the film, I've got plenty of reasons. But I want to hear from you guys because both of you guys have recently watched this. What is it about this film when you think about it that sticks out to you? And we'll go to Ryan since he's our guest. And Ryan, what sticks out about this film to you?
I feel like this movie in particular, it set kind of a stage for future films, movies like Ocean's 11 and things like that, where you kind of had that kind of diverse team, different personalities, but all working towards that common goal. Everybody kind of had their own specialty, right? And so you had Whistler, who was perfect pitch. He was blind, but he had perfect pitch, crack any code. You had Carl, who literally is this, high school college student that broke into the college computers and changed his grades, right? It was just one of those things where everybody had a very unique background. Of course, you've got Mother, Dan Aykroyd, who was Dan Aykroyd, like he is in every movie, but it's like it was just the personality. It was a mixture of those. And how you would never automatically think to bring a group like this together because of how different all of them are. But then at the end, everything works together perfectly because all of those things, all of those skills come together for them to reach their goal. So it was neat to go back and watch that again and go, hey, they've done that in this movie and this movie and this movie. It's kind of a neat way to compare it and look back.
Yeah, I agree. That's excellent points because I think that's what really made the film work was all these disparate personalities and how they oddly come together as a team. And the film, I think it gets going right away because the writing is so on point with this. When you get that the bank heist scene, right? Where they're all going into this bank and you think, oh, okay, this is a film about a bank heist, right? These guys are bank robbers. And it totally turns the trope upside down. It goes completely on its head when you realize, oh, they're doing it for the bank to figure out what the bank's weaknesses are. It's really cool. But it's really what you said about how they established these different characters, right? You got Whistler and Mother and Carl and even Martin. They all have unique traits, and I think that's one of the brilliant things about this film is how it opens up and immediately sends you right into the story. Eric, what stood out for you in that regard? Was it the same thing, or did you have something else?
Sneakers. I walked into this movie when I was in college, had no clue what I was getting into. Um, saw the list of actors involved and just, I mean, it's really this amazing, like, award-winning cast of performers. Like, you got Sidney Poitier, you got Ben Kingsley, Robert Redford. I mean, these are like A class, A tier performances. And it's not just that they are such brilliant actors, but watching them on screen together, it really felt like these guys were having a good time and
Mhm.
enjoying each other's company along with the performances. So it was almost like you're just uh, anytime you get an ensemble of people together on film that really just looks like they're not acting, they're there, and they're not just performing, but they really seem like they like being there. And that kind of energy just, I think it comes through.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
made
definitely.
this film very enjoyable. And, basing it in San Francisco, the Bay Area, and playing to that so beautifully. Like, you know, the scene where they're retracing um Martin's route that he could only hear through the trunk of the car. And every time I've gone to the Bay Area, literally, if I drive across that bridge, I'm listening for those
Yeah,
for
yeah.
those thumps in the slabs.
You hear them on all of the bridges. The Bay Area has a distinctly
Hmm.
different one. The Bay Bridge has a distinctly different cadence than does the Dumbarton, which is the one that they featured in the film.
Hmm.
But I have here my bullet points for favorite scenes in the film, and Honorary Blind Man, which is the scene you're talking about, is probably one of my favorites. Just describing
Yes,
the sounds and having Whistler use that Moog or whatever he used to create the sounds and tones. I thought that was genius storytelling, right?
absolutely.
You made a blind man a hero and gave him substance in a film and showed how he could be useful. Uh, anyway, something else that really stuck me with this was the score. And as a musician, I probably don't talk about this enough on this podcast. I taught for 14 years and studied music in college, and um, something that for some reason I keep forgetting to bring up with all these movie reviews is the music. And the music in this film, it it adds so much depth. It starts off with the lighthearted, oboe or whatever is playing in the beginning, clarinet
Mhm.
maybe. But when you get to other scenes, you get the piano, and the bum 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 bum. It just adds so much to it. James Horner has done a lot of wonderful soundtracks, including Braveheart and whatnot. Did the music do anything for you guys? Did it evoke anything for you? And was there a specific moment where you thought, "Oh, that music just that was perfect"? Ryan?
Yeah, no, I would agree. It was very cloak and dagger, right? And so you had that feeling that, that I don't know how you would describe it. Just it built suspense in the right way. And then if there was a comical moment, it would switch to something lighthearted. It did move back and forth. And now that I think about it more in depth, you're right. They did a really great job on that and setting the tone and the mood.
Cool, cool. Eric, anything for the
Well,
soundtrack?
it's James Horner, and the man is he's a friggin' genius. I mean, I love almost every time I see his name come up in terms of musical score or, music director or anything like that. Music by James Horner. I mean, I know it's going to be just emotionally moving in the way that the music will set the tone. I mean, especially during that, when they're playing Scrabble and Whistler's going to his keyboard and he's testing those circuits, and it's just a silent scene except the music, and the music just plays so beautifully, building and building and building that suspense until you get to they've solved the cryptography
Mhm.
of crap. How do I forget the word? C-Tech astronomy.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And that to me, that is actually my favorite scene in the film. And there's several reasons for that. First off, it's subtly acted, but acted with so much like perfection because the tension ramps out through that scene, right? You get them just having a good time playing Scrabble, right? They're just doing the things with the words, and all of a sudden Whistler and Carl decide they're going to mess around with this box that they got,
Mhm.
and as they start figuring out what it is, everything starts to get more and more tense, starting with the music. And then you start to feel Crease get tense, right? Because he's the government guy. He's like, wait a second, guys, and Martin, of course, wants to know what it does, but he's also leery. And you feel this in the acting from this guys. You also see the other guys like, oh, wow, what could we do? What could we possibly do? Which makes the other guys more tense. So it's brilliant. I think that right there, if you were going to take any moment from the film for me as being like, if I wanted somebody to watch Sneakers and I wanted to like give them a teaser, what would I show them? It would be probably that scene. Anything for
And
you guys?
well, and can I just say scrunchy is a word. So it's in the Merriam-Webster dictionary and it's in the Cambridge dictionary. It is in fact a word. So he was correct.
That's a good point. Just like, wait, your name's Ryan J. Hendrix, right? And the J
That's
is for
correct.
J is
Yes.
for genius.
Well, exactly right. You got it. Well, no, no, not a lot of people know that. So good job.
Excellent. Well, let's talk about this cast real quick before we go on to our next segment. I think it's important that we like acknowledge I think Eric said earlier, just so many this is a star-studded cast and there's a lot of talent there. And for me, you start off with Robert Redford, right? The perfect guy to put in this role. He's immediately likable. He pulls off a nuanced role of being a guy on the run and a guy who needs to lead a group of misfits almost perfectly. What did that role mean for you guys? Anybody can take it.
I've loved Robert Redford from Butch Cassidy, from The Natural, from The Sting, Robert Redford is, he really is this generational icon that, I mean, amazing, amazing career. I mean, the man's responsible for Sundance.
Hmm.
Come on, the Sundance Film Festival, and just yeah, that tells me just how much he loves movie making and movies in general. Just
True.
yeah,
Without him, so many guys don't have careers, like Quentin Tarantino. People like
mhm,
that would not have careers without Robert Redford. How
yeah.
about you, Ryan?
Well, it's actually funny is I remember watching all those movies growing up, and this one in particular, I remember my dad liking it. And I'll be honest with you, probably the last time I watched this was with him. So it's been that long. He's been
Wow.
gone now for about 20 years, and so I just he's to Eric's point, everything he's done, it feels like he's so iconic. It always comes through, and he creates memorable films. And even this, the second we talked about watching this, I said, "Oh my God, I love that movie. I can't wait to watch it again." In fact, it was really funny. I, I kind of took a pause because the actor Gary Hirschberger in the movie, who played the college age Robert Redford, looks so much like him.
Yeah.
Mm.
I said, "Oh my God, they did a great job with that." I mean, it was he looked exactly like him. So, but yeah, no, he's amazing, amazing guy, amazing actor.
Another person that stands out to me is Sidney Poitier, right? And it's funny because you wouldn't think of it because how stern he is, but he's essentially the heart of that group. He's like the father figure, the straight man. So whenever somebody's got a joke to bust, he's the guy that they play it against because he's the one who's going to give the best reaction to make the joke work. Like Mother constantly coming at him with all those off the wall conspiracy theories, right? And I mean, what did he say? Cattle mutilations are up. JFK assassination wasn't real. The moon landing was faked. There are actually people who believe that kind of stuff. And, whether or not you agree with them, it's your own business. But honestly, this character definitely came off as very kooky and played against Sidney Poitier. It made it less um, off the wall, like, oh, this is so unbelievable, but made it actually feel like, hey, I can't deal with this guy, right? It gave it some gravitas.
Yeah, they are diametrically opposed in terms of both personality and belief systems, in terms of government and the powers that be kind of thing. And it's the fact that they do get along, but still have such divergent views of things is what makes that really work. They know they're getting under each other's skin, especially Mother to Crease's character. Just give those jabs every now and again. And yeah, and it works. It really works because it's you just give you're giving Crease that moment just to let him roll his eyes, let him react to it, with just his face.
Well, and then he busts out with, "I never told you why I left the CIA."
Absolutely.
He's like, "My temper." That whole scene was hilarious.
There was another scene that was awesome was Whistler driving the van,
Hmm.
right? And I love there's a couple of characters that they could have superheroed and they didn't. And it might have been a part of the fact might have been that it was 1992 when this film was made. But if that film had been made today, I guarantee you, the ex the ex-girlfriend is going to be the savior, fix everything, right?
Mm.
And the blind guy is going to be able to fix everything and do everything too without any kind of, limitations. And, I not to say that today they cheese us in cinema, but maybe I am saying that a little bit. But I love that scene, It doesn't go perfectly. He's trying to drive this truck down and he's going down for some reason at almost full speed, right? He's crashing into stuff. And then, of course, he's like, oh, you're going to brake in a couple of seconds. Does he brake? Nope. Bam.
Well,
It
well,
just,
having never driven before, I'm assuming, you wouldn't know how much pressure to apply to the gas, so you're just hitting the gas. You wouldn't, the fact that he even understands, oh, this is the transmission shifter that I'm supposed to, pull down 2 notches to get to this gear, even being able to do that is kind of remarkable.
it really is.
You know.
Yeah. I think, for me, though, just the fact that he was so capable, but he's still a blind guy. They didn't
Mhm.
try to overcompensate or anything like that. He just was, what do they call him? They call him, was it freakers or something like that? There's a term
Yeah,
for,
freakers.
yeah, for guys that
Yep.
used to you do, and he's based off a real person, which obviously comes up in trivia. But
Mm.
these guys would use tonal um, recognition on the phone lines in order
Yes.
to hack, which was basically what this character is. Now, I also mentioned the character that Mary McDonnell plays. And
Mhm.
so I feel like this is another perfect casting. She's extremely well written. She's cantankerous enough not to be a complete pushover, right? But she's also capable enough to be an important element to the plot without becoming Supergirl, right? And taking over the entire thing. She fits in as another member of this team, even though theoretically she's not a member of this team, right? The little boys club. What did you guys think about the character she was playing?
Her. I think her dynamic against Robert Redford was it was the I liked the comical aspect of it. Like she goes, "We're not getting back together," and she says that over and over. When he kind of throws a smirk her way, but you can tell that her part was important. Obviously, with what they needed her to do. She understood what they were doing because she used to be part of it clearly at some point. And it was kind of neat to see like whatever anybody was doing, she was on point. Like she knew exactly what was going on. And then when they used her to go on a date with,
Warner
oh my
Brandis.
gosh, thank you, Werner Brandis. Gosh, Ned Ryerson is all I could think.
Yeah, right.
Um,
Bing.
Bang. Um, but that whole thing, she's like, just her whole like, just say passport, and the whole scene, like it just she did that so well, even all the way through to her when she gets caught, right? In and she's he brings her in there, pulls her, and he goes, I think there's somebody trying to break into my office, and they prove that she's not. She's like Werner, and they walk her out. But it was just done well. Like I don't know that her character was to me personally, she was one of my favorite characters in the movie, just
Nice.
because she was so consistent, but I just liked her. Like she had this tenacity about her that was very entertaining to watch.
Yeah, I'd agree. Eric, anything about
I
Ray McDonald?
I think one of the best aspects of this film is that they didn't feel the need to crowbar in um a romantic story plot. Martin and Liz do not get back together. She stands her ground, and she doesn't just like, oh, suddenly they go through this together, and she's now swooning over him, and they fall back in love, and which is probably what they would have done in so many other films
Oh,
where,
absolutely.
yeah, where it is, I mean, just as you said earlier, I mean, none of these characters are superhero type level characters. They're all flawed, they're all very human, and they all compensate for each other's weaknesses. And it works to make, together they're greater than the sum of their parts.
Right. I guess the last cast member that I would include in this would be obviously River Phoenix. And what a loss this guy was as an actor for the entertainment industry, because his acting chops were on point. And he played the perfect, like, nerdy hacker whose dialogue is just, and his reactions are so well timed. They're almost stand-up comic level timing on the way he was able to react and deliver. And he doesn't have a whole lot of lines, but what he did was always, like, perfect and on point. So, here's my nod to River Phoenix. I have the 49ers cap on because obviously that was one of the little plays during the film when they were doing the janitor, right? The old switcheroo, and it was the 49ers cap. But good times. San Francisco, you got to do that. I guess that leads me to the next thing, which is that a good portion of this cast is now gone. And if you think about it, so this film is only 34 years old, but out of the cast, the only people still living are Stephen Tobolowsky, which is Ned Ryerson, right? David Strathairn, who was Whistler and was also recently on The Expanse. Mary McDonnell, Dan Aykroyd, and Ben Kingsley. And that's it from this main cast. Those we've lost are River Phoenix, Sidney Poitier, James Earl Jones, and of course, Robert Redford. Cryptography, guys. You guys good at solving puzzles and figuring stuff out?
Absolutely not.
No?
Yeah,
Ryan?
no skill whatsoever.
Well, I wonder if you guys can figure this out. Maybe your top 5 films. Top 5 films. And this week's discussion will be on films about cryptography. And I'll give you guys the correct list. Wes Chatham, I know you're out there. Still waiting for you to take this back from me. I'm just going to steal this gig until you take it back, which means you have to come on the show. So, we good? All right, we're good. Number 5 for me will be Sherlock Holmes and the Secret Weapon, 1942, with Basil Rathbone, Nigel Bruce, Lionel Atwill, Karen Verne, and Dennis Hoey. And it's a spy film, basically, taking place in the background of World War II. And it's about the kidnapping of a Swiss scientist by Professor Moriarty, right? And they're trying to figure out where this bomb site's going to be. Really good stuff. To me, it's one of the weaker of the Sherlock Holmes films, but it's still a good film, and it fits in my top 5s here. So number 4 is going to be Zodiac 2007 with Jake Gyllenhaal, Robert Downey Jr., Mark Ruffalo, Chloe Sevigny. It's a story of to attempt to decipher the Zodiac serial killer's messages in the San Francisco Bay Area and to track him down. And it ends up turning into more of a film about the ramifications and the toll of not being able to solve the crime, because it's still one of the most notorious unsolved murders in I guess San Francisco history. It was directed by the same guy who did Seven, David Fincher. Number 3 will be The Da Vinci Code, 2006. Tom Hanks, Audrey Tautou, Ian McKellen, Alfred Molina, Paul Bettany, Jean Reno. Love Jean Reno in just about anything he's in. It's a professor of symbology. He teams up with a police cryptographer, and they go try to expose a massive cover-up by the Catholic Church. I read the book, saw the film, loved them both. A little bit over the top, kind of unbelievable, very Indiana Jonesy, and well, this guy's a professor. But it's wholly enjoyable, so it makes the list for me. Number 2 is Sneakers, 1992. Maybe you guys have heard of it. But number 1 for me, and I watched this for the first time last night, and it popped into my top 5 list, and I really enjoyed it. It's 2014's The Imitation Game with Benedict Cumberbatch, Keira Knightley, Matthew Good, Rory Kinnear, Charles Dance, Alan Leach. It's just a heartbreaking story based on a true story about a genius codebreaker who basically changed the outcome of World War II by breaking Nazis' Enigma code. And it's
Alan Turing. Yeah.
Alan Turing, yes. And it's sad because the very government that he saved ends up, trying to prosecute him because he's a homosexual, which is really sad. There's tons of allegory about divergence and those who are not normal or simply different. But for me, there's astonishingly relevant points to discussions people are having even to today. So that's the correct top 5. Now, guys, I want to hear what your top 5 lists are. Let's go to our guest, Ryan. Tell us,
Yes.
Ryan.
Yeah, so my top 5 in 5th place is The Net. So that was Sandra Bullock and Timothy Northam. She's
Nice.
that computer programmer. She finds the those secret codes, and then I think it was like the identity. She has her identity stolen and has to get it back. It was just a lot of suspense. A really good movie. I've always really liked that movie. Number 4 is Sneakers for me. So
Nice.
love Sneakers. It's always going to be in the top 5. Like I said, love it. Imitation Game was my number 3. Alan Turing and the cracking the German Enigma code, which was such like you said, just an amazing story. Number 2 for me is War Games. So Matthew Broderick, Ali Sheedy, shall we play a game? That was everything about that movie was so great, and it's just one of those things that it's just classic for me. And then finally, and some may disagree with me on this one, but Tron is my number 1. And I say that because, obviously Kevin Flynn has to hack his way back into the system so that he can steal his program back. He develops, Clue, the character Clue, which is basically he calls the codified likeness utility, which is literally a hacking program.
Yeah.
But the laser turns on, the master control program sucks him in, and now he is basically a program. And I've liked the sequels. I liked the most recent one with Jared Leto just because they went back into an old system, and it was like the old Tron. It was such a neat way to bring the classic back. But that first movie, there's just nothing better. Definitely my number 1.
That's a great film to have on the list, and that would be on my honorable mentions, which we've got a couple. But yeah, I'm going to give you massive credit on your list because not only did you include Sandra Bullock, you also got in Bruce Boxleitner in there too. So nice job.
Yes, the great Bruce Boxleitner.
Right. So that leaves us with Eric. Eric, what are your top 5 cryptography films?
All right, top 5 films about cryptography and code breaking. For me, number 5 was The Da Vinci Code, which you've already mentioned. Number 4 is Inception with Christopher Nolan, where you're basically breaking the code of the human mind, if nothing else. Number 3 on my list is something which neither one of you have mentioned, National Treasure. Gotta give my Nicolas Cage props to every list. Number 2, Sneakers. And my number 1 film also is The Imitation Game, which
Wow.
I have been in love with since the first time I saw it, and I've repeatedly watched and rewatched that one several times. I love that movie, and just the Turing machine that he creates, which is just such a simple, it flips back and forth and yes no to finally just hammers out this final equation that solves the problem. And I've basically had to almost build something like that on several occasions in spreadsheets and programs to force those things to do what I want them to do. And I'm inspired by Turing and his machine when I did that.
Very nice. Yeah, I like it. The only touring thing I ever get is touring tires, but man, that was bad. Okay.
Bucket of fish.
Yeah. So my honorable mentions: From Russia with Love, Sean
Nice.
Connery, and my other one that's on here besides Tron, is Wind Talkers, 2002,
Nice.
with Nicolas Cage, Adam Beach, Mark Ruffalo, about the Native American Wind Talkers. Really good film. I struggled not putting it in the top five, but when it came down to it, I had to think about, which films I really truly enjoy the most, and that's how it shaked out. Anybody else have an honorable mention?
I've got a similar list of honorable mentions, including Wind Talkers, War
There you go.
Games. I left out Wind Talkers from my list just because I had National Treasure, so just too many Nicolas Cage movies in one list for this topic. I'm also including a film called Cube, where they're solving the mathematical equations and breaking the code of the trap rooms they are stuck in. If you've not seen it, it's a very small budget film. I found it at a video store when I was in college, and it's interesting, neat. Another film on my honorable mention is Memento.
Oh, Memento.
Yes,
Nice.
little clues left behind to the next
Yeah.
memory. And the last honorable mention on my list, I just felt it was neat, a neat film, but it wasn't good enough to make my top five list, is a movie called Swordfish, aka Codename
Yeah.
Swordfish, with
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry and Hugh Jackman
Yes.
and John Travolta.
Right. Which, yeah, it's a good film, and it came out around the same time as the other film Face Off, right?
Mhm.
It's like in that same era of films, and I always kind of get the two mixed up, and I'm not quite sure why.
Yeah, it's got an amazing, like, it came out like the following year after The Matrix, and we saw bullet time on camera again in Swordfish, and it was an amazing scene.
I'm gonna tell you what I picked up on, and then I'd like to hear if you guys caught anything that an average person wouldn't have noticed. For me, it's at the very beginning of the film. Martin and Cosmo are attempting to pull that prank at college where they're donating money and transferring money from the accounts. But if you look closely at the facade of the building, yeah, it's totally the Hill Valley Clock Tower, right?
Absolutely.
Did you guys catch that? And if not, what did you catch?
If you notice the sports jacket that Robert Redford is wearing throughout the movie, that is the same jacket that he wore in The Natural.
No shit.
Yes.
Wow.
He got it as a you can take this home prop. And he took it home, and apparently he likes wearing it. So he wore it in this film.
There you go. Yeah, I did not notice the clock tower thing. I wasn't, when I was looking up some stuff afterwards. I did see that, but I was surprised by that. So I went back and looked. I was like, yeah, sure enough, that's the clock tower. That was really cool. It's a neat little fact.
Mm.
And so as far as what I noticed in the movie, it's nothing really to do with the movie, but Sidney Poitier and River Phoenix were both in Little Nikita. So every once in a while, you'll see things like that where the two actors or whatever have been in movies together, and just happen to notice it. Nothing special.
Well, it's still a good point. And that's great. You caught something. You know. And this time you don't have to go to the doctor to get it taken care of. So, trivia. So the Second Street Tunnel is used in a lot of films, including this one. That's the one where they shot Gregor, the Russian agent. But the films that feature the Second Street Tunnel are Blade Runner, Terminator, Independence Day, Gattaca, which we've reviewed on this show, Con Air, Enemy of the State, Sneakers, Demolition Man, Lethal Weapon, Repo Man, and Taxi Driver.
The Sneakers hideout, where they basically gathered together and planned their everything, is the same. They were filmed it on the same soundstage as the iconic Jurassic Park T-Rex paddock in the first movie. So it was literally shot on the same soundstage. Just a random fact. I thought that was pretty cool.
The film Sneakers was released on September 11th, 1992, which makes the joke about crashing an airplane when they hack into the FAA database just a little bit darker and more prophetic.
Wow. Damn, dude. I didn't know that one.
Yes.
That's crazy.
That's really cool.
The character Whistler, played by David Strathairn, is based primarily on Joseph Joy Bubbles Angrecia, a legendary real-life phone freak who was blind from birth and possessed perfect pitch.
There was a real-life hoax that happened during production. So the director of the movie, Phil Alden Robinson, was visited by men that told him that they told him they were from the Office of Naval Intelligence, and they warned him against making the movie. Literally said that if you mention handheld encryption breaking devices in the film, you could get in a lot of trouble. But it was later revealed that it was a prank orchestrated by a member of the cast.
Good
To
prank.
this day, everybody denies that they were the cast member that did that prank.
Right?
Exactly.
The term sneakers is hacker slang for people who infiltrate systems without permission. They repeatedly referred to their jobs in the film as sneaks. A lot of people missed that one.
Professor Len Adelman, one of the inventors of the RSA crypto system, consulted on the film and spent days creating slide for Janek's Symposium on Unbreakable Codes using early 1990s computer graphics. Director Phil Alden Robinson decided to depict the slides as crude crayon sketches, believing that's what a typical mathematician would do. Adelman agreed, regretting the time spent on the original slides.
Liz, Mary McDonnell, when she's, under the name of Doris and she's on the date with Warner Brandis, they're in that dim sum bar and there's a band singing Bad Leroy Brown. And I guess in the English version of that song of Bad Leroy Brown, he gets in trouble over a girl named Doris.
Oh, that's cool.
So just a random little
Wow.
connection there. Who knows if that was intentional or not, but that was kind of cool.
Robert Redford and James Earl Jones appear together in this film. And Robert Redford appears in the movie The Sting with Robert Earl Jones, who is James Earl Jones' father. So there's a father-son connection between Robert and James Earl.
That's
with
cool.
Robert Redford in The Sting to this movie.
Wow.
Yeah. Robert Earl Jones played Luther, who gets killed and sets off the whole revenge plot.
One of the reasons River Phoenix took the role was that he was so deep in the psychosis of his character in his previous movie, My Own Private Idaho, that he wanted a low-stress money gig. While rummaging through Dr. Brandis' trash, Mother finds a folded Captain Crunch box. In the 1970s, this cereal included a whistle that Captain Crunch, John Draper, used to make free phone calls, a key part of phone phreaking, now nearly obsolete. During a Scrabble game, Crunch is visible upside down before becoming Scrunchy. Cosmo tells Martin he helped mafia members make free calls in prison. Whistler is inspired by Joe Angrecia, a blind phone expert with perfect pitch, one of the original phone freakers. The ending of the film was a reshoot. So the characters assemble at the end of a pier, pre-dawn in San Francisco. As Phil Alden Robinson explained, the sneakers walk to the end of the pier looking forlorn. Bishop takes the chip and tosses it into the water. We then had a slow motion shot of the chip tumbling in, hitting the water and disappearing under the surface. The sneakers, sadder but wiser, turned and walked into the sun rising. Mary McDonnell says to Bishop, "We're not getting back together." And he says, "Yeah, right," and puts an arm around her. As they're walking away, Carl puts his arm around Kreese, who knocks it off, and they walk off. That was the end of the film. no Winnebago, no phone number, no Tahiti, no any of that. For test audiences, however, it was like prunes in an astronaut's lunch. It was like a fart in church. Just took the air out of the room. So it didn't go off, and they had to reshoot it. They reshot it for a couple $100 actually, which is interesting. And James Earl Jones came in a one-day, one-take thing, and that was it. So there you go. There's our trivia.
Could have done without that.
Who wants to go first?
I have to.
Go ahead,
Because
Ryan.
It's literally because literally it was every time he came on screen, I wanted to fast forward past it. Ben Kingsley's accent is atrocious. It's the worst. It's so bad. It was so bad, and I'm watching it, and I said, there has to be something online about it. And so I looked up worst accents in movies, and like lists and stuff people put together. Ben Kingsley for that movie was on several of them, along with like Brad Pitt for The Devil's Own, the Irish that terrible Irish
God,
accent.
it was so bad.
And which is funny because he did a great one in Snatch, but it's total side point tangent. But every time he'd go Matty, and it was like, are you trying to do a Massachusetts spot? Like what is that accent? And he's such a great actor. And he can do so many things. I mean, he played Gandhi. Like, this dude is...
He's an Academy Award-winning actor. And you're
award-winning actor. And every time he'd talk, I was like, oh, God. I'm like, when we talk about this, I am going to just dive into this. And that it didn't ruin Pops for me. It didn't ruin Pops. It didn't bring it down. But it was just that one little thing. And I was like, oh. So, yeah. So, there you go. I have vented. I am done.
You sound like what's his name from The Mandalorian? I have spoken.
yeah, there you go.
All right, Eric, what could you have done without?
The only thing I would have cut or shortened in this would have been the date sequence between Werner and Liz. I understand that the director basically told the actor, what's his name, Stephen Tobolowsky, he didn't really have a written script for him, so he just said improvise and say whatever, just try and make her laugh. And I think they just ran way too long on that entire date sequence, and I know it's supposed to be uncomfortable.
It was uncomfortable.
I know you're supposed to feel that secondhand anxiety and embarrassment in being there. It got past uncomfortable and got into painful for me.
Wow. It's interesting because those wouldn't have been things I picked, but I actually agree with both of you on that. When I think of this film, it's always through rose-tinted glasses because I love it. It's one of those films that you make excuses for in a way because it's just so good. For me, my first one is sort of a nitpick, and I realized that the reason this happened where it did is because they wanted to shoot in that tunnel, right? The tunnel that's used in every film you can think of. And it's the killing of Rager, I get essentially in broad daylight. Right? Here's a bunch of covert guys trying to get away with something and even frame somebody else for it. But instead of going somewhere where you won't be seen, you stand out in the middle of this tunnel and pull a trigger in front of passing cars. Now, anybody seeing that as they're passing by can identify who actually pulled the trigger. So when this guy shows up as the guy who pulled the trigger, somebody's calling it, no, that wasn't the guy. I saw it. I saw it as I drove by. I always felt that was a little... I don't know. It wasn't terrible, but whatever. Anyway, my second thing, and this one I kind of hate to say because I love the ending. I love this cheesy, let's negotiate with the NSA guy. But honestly, if you look at that scene, it doesn't hold up at all. They don't have any leverage with this guy. This is an agency that can disappear you. And, oh yeah, we'll go to so-and-so and talk to so-and-so. Yeah, really? Bam, 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 you're all dead. I take the black box. Bye. So it's forgivable because this is where some of the best of the one-liners show up. And then finding out it was a reshoot also told me, okay, this is something they came up with and shoehorned it into this film. And it makes it a little less egregious, but I really would have liked them to have done a little bit more with the negotiation and show that they had a little bit more on him than I have the black box and I can go to the press, because to me, that's not really much of a threat to him. So that's my could have done without that. Do you guys hear that? I hear disco music. Let's get to poppin'. It's time for you to give us your thoughts on this film in the form of pops. So 1 to 5 pops, 5 being best. We're going to start with Ryan. How many pops do you give Sneakers?
So I give it 5 out of 5, and I'm saying it because there's literally, and I was like, how could I bring the score down? I couldn't think of anything. Like I said, Ben Kingsley's accent was rough, but it wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough to bring it down. But it's got comedy. It has great lovable characters. It has suspense. It has a believable, in that you can really kind of go off the page with it. But it has a believable story. Everything from them heating that room up to him walking slowly to get. It's just, I don't know. There was nothing about it I don't like. I could sit and watch it again, no problem at all. So yeah, for me, it's 5 all the way.
All right, fair enough. I like it. Eric, how many pops would you give Sneakers?
I would also give Sneakers 5 out of 5. I love this movie. It is one of my go-to feel-good movies, and I'm always saddened by the number of people that are just unaware of this movie and have never heard of it. I love watching people react to this movie going, wow, I've never heard of this movie, and they watch it and they fall in love with it time and again. It's great.
Excellent. So I vacillated here because, I know it's not perfect, and I know that, it is a bit dated, but it still really holds up. So I'm going to give us the trifecta here, and it's 5 pops. And honestly, it's one of my favorite films to watch. Maybe not in my top 5, but certainly maybe in my top 20 or 30. It's lighthearted, a little improbable, but it still has that thing that makes it fun and eminently watchable. The soundtrack is fantastic. It's well cast, well acted, quirky, well written. There's nothing not to like about this film. So there we go. All 3 of us, 5 pops. That's pretty unusual. Yeah! Ryan, it's awesome having you on. It's a pretty quick episode.
No, it was fun. No, it was fun. Like you said, we did the music for that episode a while back, and it was just finding something that it kind of mixed. And you've got a lot of stuff, a lot of great movies, this season coming up. You're going to be talking about, and so, hey, you ever need me to come back, give me a holler. This is a blast. I'm happy to do it.
I will hold you to that, because every once in a while we're looking for a guest host. In fact, we had somebody sort of lined up for this, but there was a misunderstanding on their availability. And I'm like, you know what? Hey, Ryan, what do you think? Because I've been wanting to have you come on for a while, and it just kind of hit me. Why don't I ask you? We've been talking quite a bit lately. So, Eric, let us know something here.
Find us online, YouTube. We are also, each of us have our TikTok accounts that we're posting videos to. We'll be doing a few Patreon episodes. If you're not a member of our Patreon, we welcome you, love you to join. Watch our Patreon episodes as well. And, it was great talking about this film, one of my favorites. Looking forward to our next movie, which I believe is the Clint Eastwood classic film, Unforgiven. which we will be getting to shortly. So until then, happy to have you guys here. Keep on popping.
I love when you say that. Yeah. So Patreon people, The Mandalorian and Grogu, we just did that one for you. That is up on Patreon now. So please feel free to go and watch that. Interact with us. Let us know what you think. And thank you for your support. Other than that, I guess we're off. And we're leaving as well.